Okay, Harley wants to know, how often do you recommend tracking your net worth? Currently, I track annually every January. Also, how do you recommend setting net worth goals each year? I know you both love doing your net worth statement, so I'm sure you have a lot of advice for Harley.
Yeah, doing our net worth statement every year is we say this every year on the show. It's like Christmas morning. We get so excited about it. We start talking about it a few weeks leading up. Normally on like January 1st, we're texting each other about pulling statements or whatever because it's so exciting. I'm going to speak for me personally, then I want to hear from you, Brian. I love being surprised. I just love being surprised. So whenever it's like my birthday or Christmas around the house and I see something sticking out of the closet or I see something up high that my wife is trying to hide from me, I purposefully avoid it because I hate ruining surprises. I like the idea of being surprised. I treat my net worth statement the exact same way. I like doing it once a year at the end of the year. All the rest of the year, I want to focus on the process. Am I saving? Is my savings increasing? Am I putting money in? Am I putting money in? Am I doing the things? Am I paying off the debt? Am I doing all the stuff that will affect my net worth statement? So that then at the end of the year, I get the big aha of the true net effect. Okay, of all the decisions I made, all the financial things that I did for the year that will affect my net worth, what's that look like? So I personally track mine annually, and I do it at the end of the year just because it's a nice, clean little break. Agree, disagree, different view?
Well, I think it depends. And let me give you the facets to this. And first of all, if you need because you're hearing about net worth and you want to know how do I do this right, I want you to go to learn.moneyguy.com. We actually have a net worth tool that has great template and other ththings that'll actually help you with the second part of this answer.
It's the same one that we use.
Yeah, I use this for myself. Bo uses this. We eat our own cooking, so you'll be using the same net worth that we use. I look at your net worth statement kind of like the way how often you should update it to the way you raise children. In the beginning with babies, they do lots of exciting stuff. So you want to be around when they roll over for the first time. Mm-hmm. You want to be around when they pull up and smile, or the first time they start walking. So that stuff's happening very quickly. And when you first start tracking your net worth, you're going to probably feel a tendency that you want to update this thing every month, every quarter. And that makes complete sense because you've got crazy good stuff that's going on that you want to celebrate. Like maybe you paid off a credit card, or you want to, now you finally have reached saving 20 to 25% of your gross income, and you want to see that on paper or on your spreadsheet of what success you've had, and you want to celebrate those successes. But just like with your children, as they get older, those accomplishments start, the time starts getting stretched out a little bit, where you still will have moments of celebration, but it's just they won't happen as frequently. And that's why I think when Bo talks about now he's at the annual updates, because he wants to be surprised, he wants to see it. It's because his career and his financial goals have now been spread out because it's matured to the point that looking at it monthly and quarterly is not adding the incremental value that it was back when he first started, and need to celebrate those good habits as frequently. I'm the same way. I love the surprise. I love the event, but I don't want to pick on people who do it monthly or quarterly, because if they're in the beginning of their journey, I think those celebrations are very valuable and very important. I'm just telling you, we get to past the point of that you're getting busy doing nothing, meaning that if you're updating your net worth monthly, and it's now getting to be where you're losing that joy, you're losing the ability to see some value in that activity, don't do it that often. Just pay attention to that. And that leads to, what are you looking at? There's several things I like to look at. I like to look at my annual change in net worth in comparison to what I made the previous year, because you can quickly see, if you compare what your net worth changed versus the income, you can take a spot check of how close you are to financial independence. Because in theory, the years that you start, your net worth is going up more than you made in income, then your money is doing a lot more of the heavy lifting than just even what your income with your back, your hands, and your brain are doing. That's an important thing. I love tracking my debt to see the debt being paid off, because I'm quickly approaching to where my house will be completely paid off. I also love to see liquid net worth. This is when I talk about liquid investments, I'm talking about, what do you have in cash reserves, but then, what you have in your brokerage accounts and your retirement accounts. Those are things outside of your primary residence and real estate, which is a lot less liquid. It's kind of fun to see how those things are changing. Bo, I wanted to leave some meat on the bone. Were there some things you're tracking as well?
Well, it's interesting. So Harley, one of the questions I think that was tacked on right there at the end is, well, how do you set net worth goals, or do you set net worth goals? I'll share what I do, and I'll be curious to hear what you do. I'm at a point in my financial journey now where I don't set annual net worth goals anymore. What I'm thinking about now is I have these 5-year, 10-year, 15-year, 20-year net worth goals, and what I want to see in those same areas you're talking about. Where do I want my liquid net worth to be at this stage or at this age or over this time period? And what I'm really tracking on my annual net worth statements is, am I moving towards that? If I have this number in my head, if I know my number, am I moving annually towards that number? So I don't care so much about like the year over a year. I care about the trend. I care about the path. I care about that. So I set some pretty lofty 5-year, 10-year goals as it relates to net worth. But when I do my net worth statement at the end of every year, I'm not trying to think about, okay, what do I want this to be next year? Because frankly, at this stage in life, I don't care if it's down next year, right? Like if the market goes down or something like that, I'm going to think of that as opportunity, because what I want to focus on is the savings I'm doing that's going into this stuff on the net worth statement. You agree, disagree, different flavor?
I do because y'all know I had several life goals. I wanted to have $100,000 by 30, $1 million liquid by 40. And when I was saying liquid, it was outside of real estate and things like that. And now I do have some new goals that, I've shared. By the time I'm 50, I want my house paid off, even though my interest rate's practically nothing. I'm having a hard time with that one because, if you saw how low my mortgage was, it's hard to write that last little check, even though I have the cash in the bank to do it.
Yeah, but that cash in the bank's making money right now.
There's about 1.5%, almost 2% spread on what the cash is making over the mortgage. So I might end up going beyond 50 on that. But I think it's important to set those goals. But I also want to encourage you, don't get a false sense of security because we've seen some unique things happen with the real estate values shoot up here over the last 2 years, that it's easy, like if you have the goal of you want to be a decamillionaire, it's easy to kind of inflate things. You could do things to try to maximize, or if you're a small business owner, to say I've clearly crossed into the decamillionaire status. Be honest with yourself, and that's why I feel like I'm an elite athlete in the fact that I've actually created obstacles for myself as I've had success with the financials, in the fact that I started adding deferred taxes for all my retirement accounts and all my businesses and stuff. So I didn't get this false sense that I had a net worth way up here without, in reality, if you turn these into cash, they wouldn't be worth that because of the deferred taxes. So put those things in there so it keeps you humble, keeps you motivated, and keeps you going, no matter where you are in your journey to creating net worth.